MainmanMademan here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. Going down on Thursdays and Sundays here on MainmanMademan's Boxing. So the thing is this. I'm looking at Ryan Garcia's Twitter, and I see all of the trash talk that's going down between him and Gervonta Tank Davis. This ain't nothing new under the sun. They've been doing this for quite some time, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's worked for these two young men. They made themselves two popular names in the sport of boxing, at least with the younger generation. They're growing their fan base by the day. These little spats on social media, though a lot of the older fight fans may say, hey, just shut up and fight. But it works and it helps raises their profiles with their fan bases. Now, the thing is, I'm looking at what's being said this time around. And Gervonta Tank Davis basically replied to Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia basically told him 2021, you know, are you going to sign the contract? And Gervonta Davis replied back, you know that. Your team know that. And me and my team know that. Stop faking for the net, bro. In which Ryan Garcia, there it is. Garcia versus Davis in 2021. You finally decided to confirm it to the public. No running away now. Cool. Now, I've always been a firm believer that these two will eventually fight anyway. 2021 looks like about the right time. I mean, I remember this is supposed to have been the year where Ryan Garcia was supposed to have a string of fights that was supposed to prepare him for this big fight with Gervonta Davis. Given coronavirus happened, well, seems that Ryan Garcia has been struggling to get in the ring due to financial concerns, A, and B, for the simple fact that, you know, a lot of those fights were not possible. But he had them all lined up, from Hoya to Luke Campbell to them all, and then he was going to finish it off with Gervonta Tank Davis in a big extravaganza. In the meantime, Gervonta Davis was going to go down and face Leo Santa Cruz, a fighter that has a big fan base, a fighter with good name recognition, and most importantly, a champion. And this was going to be a big fight on Showtime pay-per-view. So this was prepping Gervonta Davis for the big event. If he gets through Leo Santa Cruz, especially if he does it convincingly, well, he builds his fan base. He absorbs maybe some of that Leo Santa Cruz shine. And guess what? This can catapult him into a big event. Now, we know that the handlers for these two, Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya, well, they've already made history together, in which they put on one of the biggest pay-per-views in boxing history. Remember, they had the record prior to Floyd's fights with Canelo and Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor. It was Floyd and Oscar that ruled the pay-per-view box. Well, they know what it takes, and they know the proper ingredients is needed to make a big event. So it looks like this is maybe happening. And I thought one of the reasons I've always believed it to be happening. But we'll just wait and see. There's a lot of other moving parts as well. So my thing is this. Now, where does this put Oscar De La Hoya? Because Golden Boy signed a deal with DAZN, in which they have signed a 5-year deal back in October of 2018, which means they're locked in with DAZN until 2023. Now, we all know that through the deal for Golden Boy, they are supposed to put on 10 shows per year, and they have to give that to DAZN. So, in light of what we just went through with Gary Russell Jr. and Devin Haney, I want to prepare the boxing public for a scenario that I'm wondering how is it going to play out, in which we've seen Devin Haney and Gary Russell Jr. not come to an agreement, given that both men one man was on PBC and the other man was on DAZN. And we know through Devin Haney's affiliation with Matchroom USA, he's unable to leave the app known as DAZN, at least of right now, because DAZN have the exclusive rights to show all of the Matchroom fighters. Also, when you think of Jamal Charlo versus Demetrius Andre, why that fight ain't never happened? Well, same thing at play. One guy on PBC, the other guy on DAZN. It just makes perfect sense. Major unification. Both sides express that they want it, yet we get no fight. Mainly for the real reason that I believe that whenever you get to the point of wanting to talk about rematch clauses and a rematch in two big monumental fighters like that, when they come together, of course, someone's going to want a little bit of protection and put a rematch clause in there, just in case they get robbed, just in case they, you know, anything can happen in a fight. And they want to be protected to get a second chance to go around, normally on their terms. So usually in cases like that, one fighter, yeah, I'll fight on your network. Then after the next time we do it again, hey, you come fight on my network. It's just, you know, we're both big stars. We both can command a certain audience on each other's network. Why not? Well, that's where always the problem, I believe, comes in for a lot of the fighters that fight on DAZN. It always sounds good to say, hey, won't you come on over here for one fight? But then when you say, hey, I want a rematch clause. So you're saying one fight, but if I put the rematch clause in, we're going to do the rematch over here. I think that's where the contention comes in at. That's where the problem comes in at. So it makes it, in my opinion, harder for PBC and DAZN to do business. Because, yeah, they may have each other's fighter over. But when you're talking about options and when you're talking about rematch clauses and when you're talking about sharing fighters coming on each other's networks and things like that, well, that's when you have an issue. That's when you have an issue. So it may even be coming like that from DAZN side of the tracks. If Demetrius Andrade was to go to Showtime, he may say, hey, I want the rematch on my terms over on DAZN, and maybe PBC have a problem with that. Who knows? Fact of the matter is, I believe that that's where the main contention is, because these fighters are obligated or to be exclusively shown by one network or the other. And they're stuck under that due to their promotional agreements. Well, this brings me back to Ryan Garcia and Tank. You know what I mean? Ryan Garcia, once again, he's under Golden Boy. Golden Boy is to show 10 shows per year on DAZN through 2023. So, of course, if Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis was to come together for a fight, they would want to do it on pay-per-view, I'm sure, especially given that their handlers once held the record for the most pay-per-view sold in boxing. So, of course, they would want to do this. You don't think that the news coming out recently about Ryan Garcia being the 12th most marketable athlete in the world is going unnoticed? You're going to have everybody chasing that kid now. Everybody's going to want a piece of Ryan Garcia. And Oscar knows exactly where to stare that to, as far as for the draw the biggest amount of interest, as well as money. And that is straight back to Floyd Mayweather. So once again, is Oscar prepared to join up with Floyd, make this big event, and buck DAZN? Because DAZN, guess what, fans? They're not in the pay-per-view business. They don't do pay-per-views. They do subscriptions. So is Ryan Garcia going to be able to walk off DAZN and do a pay-per-view? That is the golden question. Will some sort of arrangements be made that Ryan Garcia can go and do a pay-per-view? Will DAZN get into the pay-per-view business? What will allow this for Ryan Garcia to go off and do a pay-per-view show? Now, like I told y'all, all Golden Boy may be obligated for is 10 shows. And they may say, hey, we'll give you 10 other shows, just not give you this show. Well, what does that put Oscar De La Hoya right now, who's already on thin ice with DAZN? Where does that put him relationship-wise? You want to give us all of these fights, but you don't want to give us the big one. The same way that they charged him with Canelo for not, being able to put together Canelo and Gennady Golovkin. So they're going to look at it like, you didn't give us that fight, and then you're not giving us this fight. What's really going on? That's one thing I got to give Eddie Hearn. I got to give him credit, because with his deal with DAZN, he made sure not to lock his cash cow in Anthony Joshua into nothing exclusively with DAZN. Aside from the fact that the Matchroom USA fighters are the only ones locked under DAZN and not his UK stable, which are obligated to Sky Sports. But also in Anthony Joshua's case, he's got him on like a fight-by-fight basis with DAZN. And most importantly, if it's going to come down to Anthony Joshua needs to be shown on pay-per-view in America and in the UK, well, he got no obstacle. Because smartly, Eddie Hearn did not lock Anthony Joshua into anything. Oscar should have took notes and knew not to lock his young star in Ryan Garcia and Canelo Alvarez, the cash cow, into nothing exclusive. That was just stupid. So my golden question is, are we going to get back to that issue once again? Because Gervonta Tank Davis has already been reluctant to go over to the network DAZN. He didn't want to go over there to face Tevin Farmer. He didn't want to take all of the money that Eddie Hearn was offering, the magical $7 million, the same way he did with Charlo. Tank didn't want to go over there and make that happen. They figured maybe more money is on pay-per-view or whatever the case may be. And even in the Charlo, in Andre's case, they may say, hey, there's more money on pay-per-view. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, these PBC elites, it's always a problem for them to head over to DAZN. It's always a problem for them to head anywhere that they can't, that everything is exclusive. Because PBC, one thing that they do not do is exclusive. They have multiple networks, they have multiple promoters, and no one's locked into nothing. But at the end of the day, I just wonder if this is going to happen. I hope we don't get all hyped up, sized up, just for us to be let down by a situation like that. I mean, these are two young stars with the future, bright futures ahead of them. One is marketable. The other one is extremely popular. They both have the right machines behind them. These two can be something special in the future. I'm hoping we get it by 2021. That'd be cool. I think they're at the right age. It wouldn't be a problem. But we'll just got to wait and see. I'm hoping that the politics don't get in the way. Thumbs up for the fam, man. Salute to everybody in MainmanMademan's boxing forum over there on Facebook. I'll catch up with y'all real soon, man. We'll be going live real soon, man. Much love to the fam. And until the next one, peace out.